Lisa with Whispers from the Wreckage. Welcome back. Thank you for showing so much love on the first video, whether you watched on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Google. The list goes on where you could have watched it. But no matter where you watched it, thank you for tuning in. Yesterday's podcast was very, very emotional. And some are going to be like that. Some aren't. Some are going to be more laid back. Depends on what we're talking about. And obviously it depends on what the game pulls out. I did want to get into some more details and clarify some things. Now, I personally decided to make myself vulnerable and to let you guys in on my life and my journey and how I'm coping and how I'm dealing with things. And that's not saying I'm putting my family out there for them to get the same judgment or the same vulnerability. That's on them to decide if they come on the podcast or if they want their side of the story or their story to be heard. That's on them. So, as well as my exes, and friends and things like that, I will be putting code names for everybody, and hopefully I can keep track of the code names. I do have them written down so far. So everybody will have a code name, just to protect who they are. Yeah, let's get into today's podcast. So, one very important thing that I want to discuss, because this is my point of view on how everything happened in my life. And I'm sure if you talk to somebody else, they have a completely different point of view on how things happen. And then there's the truth. And somewhere in the middle, both of our stories collide. However, anything that I'm going to discuss, anything I'm going to talk about, they call me the queen of receipts. I have the receipts. I have the proof. I have, whether it's text messages, emails, voice notes, voice calls, like I have it. I can put it out there if things start getting that way. I'm hoping that we don't go petty, but I can do petty. It's the complete opposite of what I'm trying to do. This is about healing. This is about getting through it. This is about how I survived and how I'm here today and how I want to create this platform for everybody, right? So if I start getting petty, then that's not the goal of this. But I do want to put it out there. Somebody does, well, she's lying here, she's lying here. Anything I say, I have proof. Anything I say, I can back up. That being said, today I want to talk about something. It is an unpopular opinion, okay? I get it. I can see points of views for different reasons on why you don't do what I'm about to discuss. But can we please normalize saying the truth about how we feel about certain things, saying the truth about how we feel about relationships and friendships, and especially to our loved ones, people we say we love and we care and we don't, like, we want the best for you and this and that, and you know, I want to see you succeed, I want to see you this. Then make sure the people I bring into my corner, if they're not good for me, you're pointing that out. Can we make that, like, can we normalize that? Because, all right, we're going to throw some examples out there. We're going to get into this. I had a best friend, 18 years, almost 2 decades. We were best friends since 8th grade. We're naming her Willow. And This was my ride or die. I would do anything for, I would drop everything to just be there for her. And fast forward, it turns out it wasn't the same way, right? And I have decided to end the friendship and move forward and move on, wishing her nothing but the best. Everybody in my life, even ones that I've decided this is it, like I'm done. I wish them nothing but the best, right? So, with that being said, we'll go through this. Without getting into too much detail, because again, this isn't my story to tell, this is somebody else's story to tell. But a situation came up where somebody informed her of something in their life, something they've gone through. And somebody else in her life brought other information to her and was like, oh, look at this, look at that, look at this. And she brought it to me because I'm the middle ground between everybody. I then, with her on my phone, brought it to the person, and this person clarified it. And was like, look, it's wrong. It's being fixed, blah, 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 blah. Right? Conversation ended there. I thought we were fine. I thought we were on good terms. Whatever. Going through our days, I think she hit me up 4 days later, 5 days later, and was like, oh, we still need to finish our conversation from the other day. What conversation? And it was like, yeah, I know me and I'm just not okay with this because something's not adding up. And, it wasn't like, look, I'd rather just not be a part of that person's life and just be a part of yours, or I'd rather keep my distance or whatever towards that person who she doesn't necessarily agree with what the proof that they had. It's getting complicated. The point is that she, instead of her saying, look, your life is your life and, I want to be here for you, she kind of just was like, good luck, and, I'll be a fan from afar. And it came off as she was saying I lied to her, or I've been lying about all the abuse I've suffered and all the things I've gone through. And that was my straw. That was like the end. Like, I don't care to make this work. I don't care to be your friend. I don't care. Like, the one thing I haven't done is lie. Like, my story has not changed from the time I was a 7-year-old little girl. My story has been the same ever since, and it will always be the same because I've never lied. That's not something you lie about. And the fact that she, as somebody who was supposed to be my best friend of 18 years, can say something like that, I wash my hands, right? So, and that's what I said to her. I said, look, whether this person stays in my life, doesn't stay in my life, leaves, stays, whatever happens, remain friends, don't remain friends, has a big part of my life, doesn't have a big part of my life. I don't want you as my friend anymore. I wish you well, but I'm tired of it being the Willow show, and I'm always on the back burner. And that's how it was in our friendship. And it was a hard truth for me to sit there and actually review the friendship and be like, oh yeah, well, that happened, this happened, that happened, this happened. In every single situation, even when it was, I need somebody, it was like she wasn't there, right? Um, a backup point to that was when my ex proposed and we were planning the wedding and she found out, or I think we were planning prior to the engagement because my other friend was engaged and we knew it was coming up. Like, I think he had said something to one of the girls, and like we just knew, like it was that point of the relationship, and that's a different story for a different time. Maybe we'll get to it today. Maybe we won't. We'll see. Um, but she saw this other girl was going to be one of my maid of honors, and Willow, no matter what, Willow would have always been a maid of honor for me, hands down. Godmother of my child, maid of honor. No ifs, ands, or buts. I was already the godmother to her child. She was my best friend for 18 years. You know, and I'm not saying she wasn't there ever. That's not what I'm saying at all. And that's not how I want this to be taken. It was just, it was more the Willow show than it was a mutual friendship. And so, not too much on that. But we weren't talking when me and this other girl were planning. I don't have a nickname for her yet, so I'm not gonna put a name out there. But while we were planning her wedding, my wedding, Willow came back into the picture because she wasn't talking to me because I had missed my goddaughter's first birthday because um she changed the party the day of to the following day. At least that's when she notified me of it. Um, and I was getting ready to leave on vacation, so I couldn't go. Like that was like the day before I left, I think. And so I had a lot of things. I had planned to have this whole day, or the day that the party was supposed to be, for the baby, for the party, for whatever she needed. Then the following day to get ready to go, and she switched that up, and I was notified like 2 hours before the party. So it was too late to actually try to change, try to do anything, try to um, switch anything. So I didn't end up going to the baby's party, and obviously I felt bad. But she didn't talk to me that whole time. She didn't talk to me up until, again, we were planning the wedding, and then magically she came back into my life, and um, so fast forward, the friendship ended. I was talking to a few family members about the friendship ending and what happened, and they know the actual details. And um, without me saying the words of, I was tired of just not being put first, or whatever, they told me, yeah, that friendship was kind of more one-sided. It was more the Willow show than it was a mutual friendship. And this is what other people are saying to me. I'm like, well, she's been my best friend for 18 years. To the point where if I had kids, she'd be the godmother. To the point where, like, and so if I died, she'd have my kids. And you feel this way. Like, why are we not saying this? Another example, my ex, we named him John for the purpose of the podcast. When that whole thing ended and transpired, and um, I can't I can't count how many people told me he wasn't right for you, or, you know, he was selfish, or he was, um, again, it was a one-sided relationship. It was all these things. And I'm like, well, damn, why are we just saying this? Why is it not a thing for people to say you could do better, or look, you need to open your eyes and see these things? Like, I get it. I get it's hard, right? From, you don't want to ruin a relationship or make any tension, or, whatever. But I can't say the same. Like, I have voiced, if I felt something about somebody's spouse or somebody's friend or somebody's this or somebody's that, I have put it out there. I have put it forward. I have spoken about it. I have, in a nice way, in the nicest way. Now it's up to them to figure it out. It's up to them to take it with a grain of salt. And, we can only say what we see from an outside perspective. We can't say it and it could be the truth or it could not be the truth. We're just letting you know what we're being shown. And why can't we do this? Why can't this be a normalized thing? Like, I can't understand it. Like, normalize the fact that family tells family things. If your friend's not your friend, like, if they're not for you, we need to let people know that. I'm with my fiance now, and I keep my eyes open. I'm like, watch yourself there. Mm, watch how that person's treating you. Watch how that person's treating you. Watch how. And now they were blinded for so long by these people, and now they could start seeing it. Their eyes are opening. They're like, oh, you're right there. You're right there. You're right there. It's not mean. It's, if you truly love somebody, it's protecting them. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. Yeah, it's emotional. Yeah, losing somebody who has been a part of your life for years, or your whole life, or whatever it might be. Like, that's not fun. And in no way is that like what I'm out to do, or anybody's out to do. They're just saying, watch yourself. Because I question whether the relationship with John would have went as far as it did if everybody would have said how they felt earlier. And I'll say there were like a few, like, look how big you're making his birthday versus what he's doing for yours. And like, that was put out there. Um and sometimes I just go over the top. I want everybody to experience the best of the best. So his birthday, he experienced the best of the best every single year. They only got bigger, to the point where we were traveling every year for his birthday. Like, I made sure I paid for a vacation for his birthday, and we went away. When my birthday came around, I can't say the same, or I can't even say it was on the same level, but that's okay. Like, I'm a simple person. Yeah, it's exciting. The end's exciting. The events are exciting. The vacation's exciting. But in the end, he never put in the effort I put in. So that was pointed out to me. Just say something, because maybe you'll help them avoid a heartbreak, a emotional thing. Or what if I stayed with this person, or what if I remained friends with this person? How much money would I have been out? How much effort? How much time? What if I died and they got custody of my kids? Would they have treated the kids right? And these are all things like you have to think about. And not that I think she would have treated the kids bad. She's an amazing mom. I'm proud of her. I'm proud of how much she's grown. I really do wish her the best in life. Like, but she didn't make an effort. Like, 7 months and you're still not making an effort to be a part of my life. Like, it's kind of like you just disappeared. And it's always me trying. It's always me. And I just kind of gave up. I gave up. I came into a season in my life where if they wanted to, they will, and they'll talk to me when they're ready, or if they want me in their life, they'll talk to me. They'll reach out. They'll invite me. They'll make that effort. And that might be petty, but I'm in a healing season where I'm done. My whole entire life, I've always been the one to extend the hand, and I've re- pulled my hand back, retracted my hand, and now I'm seeing who's for me and who's not. Like, who reaches out, who checks on me, who this, who that. And those are the people I want in my life. And yeah, life can get hectic. So, you know, sometimes you can't always check on everybody and whatever, but it takes 2 minutes to send a message. Even if you can't have a whole conversation, the message just says, hey, I'm thinking about you. Sorry, life has been getting the best of me. Hope to talk soon. That's telling somebody they're on your mind. And it doesn't take much. It's not hard to do. So, with all that being said, and all that drama and all that, let's normalize telling people how we truly feel about the people surrounding them. I'm blessed to have my fiance. We have been together, if you ask him, 8 months. I could do the math. No, if you ask him 9 months, it's 8 months. It's the proper thing. We battled that out all the time. He proposed 6 weeks after knowing me. Sorry, 6 weeks after dating me. He knew he was going to propose 2 weeks after dating me. He started talking to everybody surrounding me, friends and family. I'll tell you our proposal story when he comes up in the story, and maybe when he's a visitor on the show. Yeah, our relationship moved pretty fast. I'll say that. No regrets. We have helped each other in ways that isn't right explaining without him being on the show. So I will table how we've helped each other and things we've gone through. But I will say this: he was the light in the tunnel. I had just found myself. I was after the breakup. Um, I was loving myself. I was exploring life. I was doing what I wanted to do. I was traveling, saying yes to everything. You could have asked me to jump off a building and I would have been there. Which is when we started talking, and I pushed him away quite a few times. I'm like, and he just wouldn't have that. He saw something in me that he knew he wanted for the rest of his life. And we have had a totally different relationship than I've had or experienced in my life. Like, And it's a work in progress. I will say that things aren't perfect. Nobody's perfect. But we commit to each other, and we commit to making the relationship better. And, you know, life has changed since he's been in it, and in a amazing way. So I think we're gonna go into our last segment of the substance game. All right. Vulnerable. What are your thoughts on what happens after death? I think we come back. I think we reincarnate. I think I said that correctly. But I feel like we come back. We just come back as a different, come back as a dog or a cat, or I don't know. I feel like everybody's heaven is completely different. They all collide, they're all one. But my heaven is completely different from the next person's heaven. Heaven is Christmas. Like, I love Christmas. I love Christmas. And somebody else's heaven is hot. I don't want to be hot. I don't want to be sweaty. I don't want to be for the rest of my life. No. Just no. So I I think everybody's heaven is different. They just get to come back, re-experience life. Um, I will say the opposite. I think everybody has a purpose on this planet. So living, I feel like we all go through what we had to go through. Like everything I experienced in life, yeah, it hurt. Yeah, it destroyed me. Yeah, but maybe it was because I had to start this podcast and I had to create this platform to help a little somebody else who's going through it, another little girl who's gone through it, another, you know, I don't know what my purpose completely is yet. We'll see how this pans out. We'll see how life pans out for me. But I think even the rough things where people like to say it's the devil doing it, I think we all just need to experience the things we need to experience because it helps us with our purpose in life. And I hope that came out and made sense. But yeah. The last point I want to point out, this episode is actually pretty long. About 40 minutes. I want to thank you guys for joining and sitting along. And I know this episode wasn't as interesting, I'll say. Or it could have been completely interesting and you loved every second of it. Who knows? Well, I hope you would tell me. Don't forget to comment below your answer to what are your thoughts on what happens after life or after death. Sorry. Make sure you follow us on all our social medias. You'll see my healing journey over on this, like clips of different things I do on our social media. Merch will be dropping next week. So stay tuned for that. The next episode, I'll be promoting it and having it on. The next episode is going to get good and filled with drama and filled with details I know a lot of you are waiting for. So stay tuned. And our next episode will drop next Sunday at 4 p.m. Until next time.